On February 23rd, 2015, Kaya Jackson was at her home in Greenville, South Carolina, when she received a phone call that changed her life. Her 17-month-old daughter, Egypt Henderson, who was staying at her father's house over the weekend, was at the hospital and about to undergo emergency brain surgery. Hospital staff members told Kaya that if the surgery worked, Egypt would be a vegetable for the rest of her life and need 24/7 care. If the surgery did not work, Kaya would die. Kaya wanted them to do whatever they could do in order to save her daughter's life, and they were ultimately able to do that, but that came with a ton of challenges. After Egypt's surgery, she was said to have suffered from cerebral palsy, epilepsy, partial blindness, and hip dysplasia. Egypt was no longer able to walk, she couldn't crawl, she had no head or body control anymore, she couldn't speak, and she couldn't even eat. She needed a G-tube. Upon authorities investigating this case, it was discovered that Egypt's father, whose house she was at that weekend, Joseph Morales, had beat her into a coma after she would not stop crying. Joseph was arrested and ultimately pleaded guilty to inflicting injury on a child, which landed him 18 years behind bars back in 2016. In February of 2024, about 9 years after this incident, Egypt ended up passing away from pneumonia, a disease that she would have been able to recover from had she not had all of these medical complications that her father's actions gave her. After Egypt passed away, Kaya tried to get more charges brought about against Joseph right here. However, there is a South Carolina law that prohibits a person from being able to be prosecuted for a homicide if the victim passes away over 3 years after their injury occurred. So right now, Kaya is actually working on a bill to pass legislation that would change the law and take away the statute of limitations that would make a person held accountable regardless of how much time has passed. Kaya is extremely frustrated, and rightfully so. The fact that her daughter's life was stolen from her and the man who took her daughter's life is now eligible for release in a few years, 2030, he'll be able to get out and live life like normal again. It's ridiculous. In addition to proposing this new bill, Kaya also unveiled a billboard back in May to raise awareness for shaken baby syndrome, and in July she gave out free school supplies as part of Egypt's honorary bag giveaway. Kaya does not want anyone to forget her daughter's name, she doesn't want anyone to forget her daughter's face, and she believes that her grief is all about raising awareness, and she is doing her best to ensure that this does not happen to any other children.